and gentlemen, we're back live on this Wednesday, the 11th day of December, 2013. And John B. Wells, host of Coast to Coast AM, along with the great George Norrie and others, is a veteran radio host and voice actor with credits ranging from radio stations and TV shows to movies and advertisements. But I like him for his libertarian, constitutional, classical conservative views and just enjoy listening to his show. It's one of my favorite times to listen to Coast AM. And he's done advertisements and worked for big companies, you name it, in all 7 continents. He's also a musician, writer, composer, martial artist, and aviator. In addition to serving as the announcer for CBS's Late Late Show with Craig Kilborn, Wells has lent his voice to Oliver Stone's JFK, talk radio films, and appeared in many other films. He's also recently voiced promos for Discovery Channel's Deadliest Catch and Gold Rush. After frequently serving as a guest host on Coast to Coast AM, he, for the last few years now, has been hosting and is very, very popular. And so, in fact, one of the most popular time slots there. And so we're very excited to have him. caravantomidnight.com, jbwells.com are his websites. And I saw him up there at the whole JFK 50th, and then he was there with us for about 4 hours, left a little while before the police attacked us. We thought it was all over. Before the deputies attacked us, and so we had him on from the road there, went out to dinner, really enjoyed getting a chance to hang out with him. So I invited him down to Austin, Texas, so he hopped on a flight from Big D, like a 25-minute flight, and came in here, and he's with us for the second half of the transmission. And I told him, I said, what do you want to talk about this morning before he flew here? And he said, whatever you want to cover, just like when I go on his show. And then I said, well, I mean, what do you want to cover? And he said, look, just throw out questions at me, and then I'll try to give you my take on them. Now, you know how I am, John. As soon as I start talking, or if you pause for me, I'll jump in. So you're here. I want you to be able to talk some and go over, all these articles. So I'm going to throw a lot of subjects out at you today and just randomly get your take on it. Bitcoin.
Set up. Nothing is, by the way, it's great to see you.
Good to see you, buddy.
Fabulous complex you have, and all your people are so nice and professionally get it done. It's a really smoking crew. I like it. Well,
we're really about to go to the next level, so we're running around like an anthill.
Yeah, this whole Bitcoin thing, I subscribe to the proposition that none of this stuff is by accident, and everything that we see, it's like, look the other way. And the noises come from over there. Look that way. That's where the action is. So I was behind the curve pretty bad on Bitcoin because I don't play around with the financial markets. I'm not interested in stock investment or any of that. I just observe what's going on. Hey, the market crashed. Well, that's bad. Market's up. Okay. Oh yeah, there was that quantitative easing. That's probably why the market's up. Okay, and that's about the extent of it. But Bitcoin started becoming a term more and more frequently used, and I just thought, this stuff is getting just a little bit too much play for it to be some really revolutionary idea in mercantilism. And of course, when it hit the papers yesterday, so to speak, that JP Morgan is going to upgrade their patent on their version of Bitcoin from 1999. Oh, and then the little sub-headline was, persons could make transactions anonymously. There's no such thing as an anonymous transaction over the internet. That's just rubbish. So to me, it's like, okay, there's your one world currency in the making. Particularly if JP Morgan's behind it, because they're behind everything that has anything to do with money and have been since there was a JP Morgan.
Well, I'm on record saying that this is the type of thing that I think JP Morgan or Goldman Sachs is behind. And I'm not saying that unequivocally, but I've always not followed my gut, even though it's always been right. Now I follow my gut.
Yes.
And my life just gets better and better and better by the millisecond because the gut's running things now. The brain already knows what's going on, and intellectually I see a lot of stuff that's wrong with it. And here's my issue. They keep saying in the last 5 years, we need a new bubble. They said we're going to come out with a new digital global currency, but we need to call it something other than SDRs, strategic drawing rights. They said they want $100 trillion in new liquidity from taxpayers. So they run it out there like it's this new crypto thing against them. A bunch of people jump on it like the tulip bubble, where tulips were going for the equivalent of $1 million, and then a month later were worth nothing in Europe. People can look up that as a case. It has all the signs and handiwork of the same tailor. This suit was cut from the same cloth. Now, I'm not saying people can't make money in the run-up of it. I don't want the bad mojo, the bad karma, reap what you sow. If my gut tells me there's something wrong with it, forgive me, I'm just saying danger Will Robinson. You know, we have something approaching from the east, very large, very dangerous. And I totally concur with what your gut is telling you. And now it's, oh, they had a patent 14 years ago of something, and this comes out of Austria, and no one will say where it is, and it's been pumped in the liberty movement. They may even destroy this and roll something else out and then blame us. I'm not getting blamed when it all goes belly up.
The thing is that the most fundamental concept of capitalism is one that I believe most people don't understand, and that is these contractions have to occur. If you just read the back of any credit card statement, any institution's the specifics and the details of what your loan is going to cost you, you see that. I mean, back in the 80s even, I thought, you know, we've got M1 and M2. M1 is the cash and the checking accounts and savings accounts. M2 is basically paper money. Well, if a day came when all of that debt came due, there's not enough money in the entire system to pay it all. So what happens is we see these bubbles, you see expand, 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 and then there's a contraction. There's only one of two ways to manage your monetary system, and that is to collapse it every once in a while and throw a few players out. They bankrupt them, they foreclose on them, they resell, and then the expansion starts again. So now that this globalistic economy has come into play, well, the danger factor goes even higher, because now instead of just various markets and maybe even one country having a capitalistic contraction, now there's a possibility the entire world could have a capitalistic contraction. And to salvage it, lots and lots of players will have to be thrown out, lots of foreclosures, lots of property seized. And
the globalists have used fractional reserve banking and the boom-bust cycle to gain dominant control. Now they openly say they're going to have one giant meltdown, pose as the saviors during it, make us accept a new digital global currency that we pay carbon taxes to back, that then surveils all human activity through the Panopticon NSA grid that's actually global. And then they can selectively shut down all their competition with selective enforcement. That is a high-tech total tyranny. And that, John B. Wells, as you've accurately broken it down, is the New World Order capstone, the master plan. And how do we get the general public that they're smart enough to know, to watch Sports Center and to know everything about the NFL? They've got to learn about the world. People aren't successful because you don't know how the world really works. You know about your sitcom people and your football people, you know, the male soap operas. And I get football, folks. I like it too. The point is that I'm not that smart, and I figured this out. John's a smart guy. He figured it out. And it's all coming towards a very bad design contraction. So what do we do about it?
Well, I don't really know what we do about it, because the other component is one that we've discussed before, and that is taking some of the players out may equate to literally taking some of the players out. In other words, big conflagration. I was reading about the, you know, if there is a huge solar, what do you call it, a coronal mass ejection and so forth that took down the grid. I mean, I believe it was on InfoWars that the potential to eliminate 9 out of 10 people because of civil unrest and this and that and the other because your grid goes down. That's
yeah. The Pentagon says that, and now they know on average every 100 years or so we get hit by one big enough that when it hit last time it blew out most of the electricity in large areas of the world. Imagine if that hits now.
Well, look, the population is high-strung enough as it is. I mean, they're as tight as a bowstring as it is. Somebody is waiting for something bad to happen. Oh, it's not just somebody, it's this entire group. Well, which group? I mean, is it the poor group? Is it the patriot group? Is it the conservative group? Is it the liberal group? Who's waiting for something to happen? Everybody's waiting for something to happen. And you ask, what can people do about it? The thing is train yourself to look in the opposite direction from where the noise is coming. And I think we're going to be, I think we're a few months off from determining how we're going to survive, let alone succeed. Maybe the success will come later. But I think we're looking at a scenario within the next 6 to 8 months. It could be quite dramatic. I mean, all these antics from the executive office, this routine circumvention of the Constitution, this unbelievable militarization of the police departments, and these people are just running around shooting like ever before. Now, people can say, well, you got the internet now, so they can make a case for saying, no, that's just stuff that happened all the time, always has happened, and you're just hearing about it now because communications methods have improved. It's like, not really. There are more frequency. There's a greater frequency of cops shooting people that should not have been shot. I mean, this guy that shot this kid with the BB gun is back on duty. Now, the one that shot at the car in New Mexico, he gets fired. But the one who killed the kid is back on duty.
Well, we all see the videos where a lab jumps out of the car because the cop opens it. The tail's wagging. Anybody knows a dog that's friendly. And then the cop just shoots it.
I mean, what is this? Why is this happening? Why are the policemen that we trusted when they showed up? It's like, oh, good, relief, help is here. They'll help us. I mean, to me, it's almost as though every confrontation with the police officer is potentially life-threatening now.
Well, that's because they've been trained to be warriors, and if a Marine doesn't act first, he'll be dead Marine. That's what this guy that shot the 13-year-old with the airsoft gun said in SWAT magazine. He said, you've got to act even if you don't know what you're doing. Just some action is good. Well, that's not true.
Well, that's not public service either.
But, I mean, he's not fighting the Taliban.
No.
It's not like he was in Afghanistan and the guy had something that looked like a rifle and turned around. He shot him. You'd be like, yeah, it's a war zone. It's a rural area of Northern California with a kid with a plastic pellet gun.
It's just beyond anything I've ever seen. I don't understand why you can't pull your pistol out and march up going, put your hands in plain sight or I'm going to start shooting. I'm warning you, don't do anything else. And then if somebody makes a threatening move, it's like, well, there's always a kneecap or a leg or an arm or a shoulder or something. You don't have to dump your whole magazine in the person. But I think they do that.
Well, they train them in instinctive shooting to kill them immediately. That's why we had a case in Austin where a guy with no criminal record got pulled over. Officer said, get out of the car from his little loudspeaker or whatever. And the guy gets out with his wallet in his hand, and the cop just instantly, like he was a gunslinger, starts firing at him. And listen, I had an Austin cop pull me over for speeding about 10 miles an hour in Northwest Hills when I was a senior in high school. My mom said, go get me frozen yogurt. And I said, okay. Because, them helping me get a car meant that I would do errands for him constantly.
Right.
Which I like doing. So I go up and get the thing, and my weight belt's sitting in the front of the seat. Green Mustang. Cop pulls me over right by my house, like 300 yards away. He walks up, hey, how you doing? License registration, you know your speed. All of a sudden, hands on the wheel, ah! He had the gun to my head, just going, ah, ah. And he was like, get out, get out. And he was like, oh, never mind. And luckily, he didn't. Nowadays, they'd beat me up or something because they were wrong and prove they were. And he goes, oh, it's a weight belt. Oh, okay, well, I thought it was a knife scabbard or a gun. And I was just like, okay. And he let me go. But, I mean, the thing was, I was more calm with him with a gun to my head, screaming. and
he was, and he's holding the gun.
Yeah. And, I mean, obviously, the guy pulls up, I'm like, hey, yeah, sorry. Boom, gun, like, I mean, what is that? Psychosis.
That's what it is. I mean,
well, if they're so afraid, they shouldn't be a cop.
That's correct. That's absolutely correct. I mean, DPS officers, Texas State Police, they typically don't act that way. Now, I'm not saying they're angels. They're not. You don't mess with the DPS. These are serious cats. They really are. But they've got a calm demeanor about them. And now, if as what happened in Fort Worth, Texas, some years ago, the DPS says, stop what you're doing, and you speed off, and he's on your truck, and he goes, stop the vehicle, and the guy doesn't do it, so he goes, boom.
Yeah, well, that's different.
That's asking for it, A Texas state policeman that's clinging to your vehicle is telling you stop the vehicle.
Yeah, well, that's life-threatening.
That's different. But just to flip out because of a weight belt in the seat, it's like, what's wrong with you? And I think a lot of these guys are probably ex-military, and when they come back from being in the stuff over there, what are they going to do? How can they apply those skills? And they're already jacked up.
Well, I would be completely exhausted every day if I just ran around with my eyes bugged out thinking everybody was out to get me. Because I did some competitive shooting, and it was like more than half of them were cops involved in it. I got out of it because they were so whacked out. And literally just acting like Rambo. Yeah. And just thinking people are hiding under the,
Well, a lot of people drink. A lot of people take Prozac-based antidepressants. A lot of these police are under. I think part of the problem is that the society is so big now. I mean, literally in numbers, physical numbers, that they are exposed to so much ugliness that it affects you. You can't see somebody.
Oh, I agree. Just reading the news every day, I've become pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's enough to make you walk on the side of your head.
We'll be right back, John. Amazing.
Hello, this is Hank Hill, And I'm telling you what, you need to listen to Alex Jones.
Yeah. Infowars.com.
I judge, what is the secret of the universe?
Infowars.com.
CaravanToMidnight.com is the excellent website of John B. Wells. You can hear him Saturday nights on Coast to Coast AM on over, 600 stations or something around the country. And many stations that we're also carried by. And he's here in studio with us. We're going to open the phones up in the next hour. We're going to get into the state of the media. He was asking during the break, how long will they let us continue to do this? That's the big question. We're going to talk about that. We're going to get into Obama and his executive power grabs, the Middle East, the government funding Al-Qaeda, all of this, and a bunch of news I haven't covered yet. Briefly, it is Christmas. It's the holiday season. Your purchases at InfoWarsStore.com with the great products only helps fund our operation here. I mean, we couldn't do it without you. And then it also helps you have great health, great products for you and your family. The Nascent Iodine, the proprietary blend, has just done so much for my body, my skin, my thyroid, my brain. It's just amazing. It's available at InfoWarsLife.com. Our new Arabica, Chiapas high mountain grown, beyond fair trade, right from the co-ops. Coffee is just the best out there. It's my favorite coffee. You may differ, but get a bag. It's very fairly priced. We've got several blends there, and also one with reishi mushrooms for your immune system and more at InfoWarsLife.com. And finally, it's really important to give the gift of I would say the Nascent Iodine or the Fluoride Shield or the Super Male Vitality, because everybody that ends up taking this goes, man, Alex, you're not joking. This is really great coffee. Let's face it, it's a supplement too. Or, hey, Alex, you're not playing games about this Nascent Iodine. This is so different. Look, I discover incredible things. I bring them to you. And we just launched the Maiden1776.com brass belt buckles with George Washington and, Down with Tyranny and the new Made in America apparel line. That's how we're funding the building of our media operations. That's also available at InfoWarsStore.com or Maiden1776.com. We have Made in America flags that are high quality, not made in China by slaves. So a lot of unprecedented stuff up there on the site.
Now you can watch the InfoWars Nightly News streaming live as it happens for free.
Check it out at Infowars.com/show.